By the time Matt Groening started developing Futurama, The Simpsons were already a household name.
I'm so rich. I'm so rich.
You'd think, with all its success, that Fox would have been excited for the prospect of another cash cow cartoon in sight. Well, think again. Groening described his efforts to get Futurama on the air as by far the worst experience of his grown-up life. Take a little dose of Groening's already dark sensibilities, throw in a dash of his natural desire to outdo himself, add a sprinkle of his resentment towards a controlling network.
Yes, I'm afraid the brainless drones who run the network canceled our license.
And you've got a recipe for a dark cartoon. Even among Futurama's established plot lines, you can find hints and breadcrumb trails sprinkled throughout the episodes. That makes the show one of the best to dissect, twist, and reconnect into a weird hypothesis on the internet. I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and here are our favorite dark theories about Futurama.
Tinier than yours, meatbag.
Suicide booths are the only way to die. Almost. Some would say that Futurama is a more mature show than The Simpsons. At the very least, it often tackles more mature themes, with no kids among the main characters to start with, and a romantic story running through its heart. Plus, the sexual references. Lots of sexual references.
Silence! You want died like last men visit Amazonia?
What'd they die of?
Crushed pelvises.
Fox was especially concerned about the inclusion of one memorable object in Space Pilot 3000, the opening episode, suicide booths. 25 cents a pop. Why would anyone bother paying to kill themselves, and why is the queue so long? Reddit user Jacob Wallace puts forward the idea that these booths are just about the only way to kick the bucket in the year 3000. With advances in modern medicine leading to unnaturally long life and effective, widely available treatment for even the most severe injuries, most people only elect to die out of choice. It's a twisted take on modern life, capitalism, and real issues around euthanasia, cheapening it to a decision you can make on a whim for pocket change. We'll come back to this one a bit later as part of a deeper, darker theory about Futurama's fourth millennium world. Bender wasn't a criminal before he met Fry. This popular theory revolves around everyone's favorite apathetic robot's criminal tendencies. Right from the pilot episode, we get to witness Bender's nihilistic worldview and general aggressive behavior in the queue for the suicide booth. But we also see him swipe Leela's ring, establishing his lack of a moral compass. Look a little deeper though, as done by Reddit user The Loudest Penis, yes, that's his name, and there might be a little more to it. When we break down the timeline of that first episode, Bender only steals Leela's ring after his electrocution.
Hey, he stole my ring!
Sorry.
If we surmise that the electrocution caused him to reboot, much like in the Penguin episode, he would have automatically reset and calibrated to blend in with those around him. Pay careful attention to where he was when that happened, the Hall of Criminals. The theory has some real substance to it, and the show's writers have a habit of threading elements together, offering explanations and revelations between episodes and even seasons. If there's one hole in the theory, it's that Bender uses a quarter attached to a string to trick the suicide booth. A criminal act before the electrocution. Then again, it's a suicide booth, and we know Bender resents them, having been employed to manufacture them originally.
But I couldn't go on living once I found out what the girders were for.
What?
Suicide boots.
Perfect recovery. Theory confirmed. The United States annexed the entire planet, Earth. So Futurama decided to represent America's inevitable future global domination. What more needs to be said? USA, USA,
USA! USA! USA!
Alright, fine. A little explanation. Still sticking with the pilot for now, we see how the writers really love to plant hints before offering an explanation later. Ever notice Nibbler's shadow in the background as Fry tumbles into the cryogenic freezer? Well, this theory actually relates to something that happens a few moments later, as the entire third millennium skips by. What we see are two major events that result in the destruction of New York City. Thanks to the feature-length Bender's Big Score, we find out that Bender actually is responsible for the first one. Bender's ship does seem significantly advanced compared to the Swedish jets. So either Bender brought some alien technology back with him, or he learned the science and created it from knowledge, or America's defense budget really starts paying off around the 24th century. Now, we also see those same ships in the second destruction event. Accordingly, Redditor Whalephant makes the case that the second major destruction of New York City was also a terrestrial event, specifically a struggle for global domination which resulted in American global dominance. Futurama establishes that there is a global government which seems to be structured in a fairly similar way to the current system in the United States, Democrats and Republicans, or close enough, as well as Washington, D.C. and Nixon. What's so dark about America ruling the world? Well, let's not get into the politics. Farnsworth is a wizard. Disenchanted crossover. Alright, let's take a look at the world between those two major destruction events we see while Fry sleeps through the millennium. It's clear that New York at least regresses into a medieval technological state. What's unclear is just about everything else. Here's a hypothesis from Reddit user Jacob Wallace. Farnsworth is a wizard. It's widely suggested that Futurama and Disenchanted share the same universe. Specifically, the events of Disenchanted take place during those two destruction events. Hell, you can even see some of the Futurama crew in the time machine. Pause, rewind, freeze, enhance, got 'em. Farnsworth invents technology far beyond the capabilities of his peers, despite fuzzy, unscientific explanations. Perhaps the technology he uses is a remnant from Disenchanted's Age of Magic. If that's true, then far from being a technological regression, Disenchanted's magic was actually far in advance of anything we see in Futurama. And American flying saucers just came along and wiped out all the evidence of their culture. Well, almost all of it. Hypnotoad is descended from Barts Frog, Simpsons crossover. Does anybody think Matt Groening just likes to throw in little Easter eggs and crossovers as a fun reward for fans rather than as some cryptic hint at a deeper conspiracy? No, nor do we. Simpsorama confirms that The Simpsons and Futurama share a universe, or a multiverse, or whatever, despite also existing as TV shows in each other's realities. Don't overthink it. The point is that when Bart releases a frog, committing an ecologically reckless act of sabotage on the unreasonably fragile Australian ecosystem, he inadvertently sets the amphibians on an evolutionary path that results in the Hypnotoad. Thanks to Redditor Colburns815 for posting this theory. All glory to the Hypnotoad. Futurama takes place in a post-scarcity future. Back to the suicide booths again, and what they really mean in the show. Sure, they were a great satire and a funny gag to kick off the series, but they actually tell us something deeper about the world and our main characters. We meet Bender, not just a robot, but an angry, impatient, nihilistic robot, bent on his own demise. I'm sorry.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
At the same time, we learn that Fry is so disconnected with the world, he almost manages to kill himself in an insanely trivial manner. We learn that he's totally out of step with life in the year 3000, just like we are as viewers. Everything is completely new to him, and the world never stops to explain what's happened. We just experience it all through his eyes. Redditor Red Salesperson takes things a step further, putting forward the idea that not only is it hard to die in the world of Futurama, hence the suicide booths, there's pretty much no hardship at all. The post-scarcity future, far from solving all the world's problems, has essentially removed all purpose to life. The majority of people spend their time living out whatever life they want in perfect virtual reality. The only people who can be bothered to live in the real world pretty much do it for kicks, except Fry, who nobody bothers to tell. Take a look at Zoidberg.
Dr. Zoidberg, this is Fry, the new delivery boy. He needs a physical.
He hardly takes his profession seriously. In fact, almost no one in the show does. It could be that a world without adversity is just about the darkest future imaginable, a world where nobody cares. Zapp Brannigan went crazy. How is it possible that a man like Zapp Brannigan could still be in his position of power despite his total incompetence?
Sham, pagan,
Absurd egotistical behavior, narcissism, and constant sexual harassment.
welcome to my humble chamber, or as I call it, the Love-nasium.
Okay, maybe that's not totally implausible, but Redditor user Bingram has come up with an explanation nonetheless. The theory goes like this. Before we knew Zapp, he was a truly outstanding officer. We know that he saved the Octillion system from killbots by sending his men to their death and maxing out their kill limit.
Knowing their weakness, I sent wave after wave of my own men at them until they reached their limit and shut down.
Now, many would say, did he suffer a blow to the head before the battle? But maybe this was the only way to save the system, and he took the difficult decision, resulting in the death of countless soldiers and ultimately his spiral into insanity. What if he had a better solution, which could have saved lives, but his commanders refused to listen? Ultimately, he became torn between guilt over their deaths and resentment towards his superiors. He might then decide staying in his role, but acting with incompetence would be a better way of thwarting the democratic order of planets and reducing their potential for evil. Whoa.
Oh, come on. Cheer up. It's not that bad.
Mom programmed pain into robots to save costs. In the world of Futurama, many or all robots feel at least some degree of pain. Of course, a lot of the time they don't. But what's the point in making robots feel pain at all? What's the point of humans feeling pain? It's a deterrent to getting hurt. That's the basis of this theory. Essentially, Mom programmed pain into robots to improve their self-preservation instincts, reducing the need for replacement parts, thereby improving company profits. Wait, if that's a good way to make money, then why the hell is Apple screwing my goddamn iPhone 4S? I refuse to upgrade. Just make it feel pain so it lasts longer. Well, I suppose it's possible that market competition in the future actually encourage companies to create a quality, long-lasting product. It's a science fiction show after all. But anyway, those are our favorite dark theories about Futurama. Which one was your favorite? And did we miss any? Do you have any dark theories about Futurama of your own? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notifications whenever we upload. But most importantly, stay wicked.